Hey team, just doing a quick video to explain the power of 3. So this is you here. So you will need to do at least 100 PV LRP. Let's say you do your over 125 PV LRP, so you get your product of the month before the 15th. Then let's say these 3 people here also do 125 PV. In theory, you would then get your power of 3, but this is where people get mistaken. Is the reality is you actually need to have over 600 OV along this line to get your power of 3. So the reality is it's probably actually an extra person or 2. So say there was 5 people doing the 125 PV LRP, that would add up to over 600 OV. Or you might need an extra person, say five people along here, or doing 100 PV, and you doing 100 PV, and that would add up to the 600 OV. Or if all 3 people here did 150 PV LRP, and you did 150 PV LRP. So for me, from a safety perspective, just so you're not putting, pressure on people that they need to do 150 PV LRP every single month, is it's good to have an extra 1 or 2 people on your front line doing 100 to 125 PV LRP. So the way I do it is I personally enroll everybody on my front line as a wholesale customer until I've ultimately got my 50 power of 3. Then once you've got your 50 power of 3, out of those 4, 5, maybe even 6 people on your front line, one of those people is going to be your builder or sharer. At that stage, then they start personally enrolling people. So let's say this person was my first to switch on. They start personally enrolling people here. And now they're going for their 50 power of 3. So they're doing exactly the same thing as what you've done. They might have an extra couple of people on their front line, and then they get their 50 power of 3. So the most important thing about the 50 power of 3, it's actually 50 is actually, that's in US dollars. So that works out to be at the moment in Australia about 70, 75 AUD. Depending on the exchange rate. So what we want to do is we want to keep putting our personal enrollments on our front line as wholesale customer. Remember, if a wholesale customer doesn't enroll anybody or upgrade themselves to a wellness advocate in the first 90 days, in say 90 days they do decide to upgrade to a wellness advocate or want to enroll some family and friends, you can then move them anywhere in your entire structure on in your business. So they're not permanently stuck there if they're a wholesale customer, because generally it takes 3, sometimes I think it's actually 8 months on average before anyone enrolls somebody, their first enrollment. That's on average. So then if we're going for our 250 power of 3, what we need to do is we need to duplicate what we've done on the front line 3 times. So this person needs to get their 50 power of 3, this person needs to get their 50 power of 3, and this person needs to get their 50th power of 3. So remember, a 600 OV structure, a 600 OV structure, and a 600 OV structure will get these 3 people their 50 power of 3, but it will get you your 250 power of 3. So it's really important to understand that, as I said, this is in US dollars. So that works out to be over $3,000 a year. So once you have your 250 power of 3, your products are completely paid for. So think about it, your healthcare, all your beauty products and home care products are now all paid for, which is pretty cool. So I would definitely recommend going towards that, but understanding that you may need these people may need 4 or 5 or even 6, maybe even 7 people on their front line before they get their 50 power of 3, because not everybody's going to order on LRP every month. So we need to factor in that. Obviously, to get our 1500 power of 3 in US dollars, Um, this person would need to get their 50 power of 3. This person would need to get their 50. And this person would need to get their 50 power of 3. And so it would actually need to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 extra people that get their 50 power of 3. So you can see that this structure, this 1500 power of 3, is going to take time. But understand that it's going to be well worth it, because 1500 power of 3 is ultimately it's almost $20,000 a year. So it's quite a substantial amount of money. So definitely something worth factoring into your business from the beginning. And the only way to get this to happen in your business is by doing exactly what I said at the beginning. All your personal enrollments go on your front line. So you might have a couple extra here. Okay? Then you're going to get your 50 power of 3. Out of the, say, 6, let's say the 6 people on your front line, this person switches on first. They start doing the same. Once you've got your 50 power of 3, once you've got your 3 people that have switched on, and when I say switched on, is they're doing the work. They're not saying they're doing the work, they're actually doing the action steps, which is super important to understand, is then, and only then, I would potentially start putting my personal enrollments on their front line. So let's say this person is my strong builder, they're doing the work, they're really dedicated, they're doing all the personal development work. I might put a couple of personal enrollments on their second line, and that will help them work towards Premier, because as a Premier they need 5,000 overall volume. Yeah, okay, so 2 personal enrollments of 2,000 OV. So let's say this person and this person, and the other 1,000 can come from anywhere. So it could be your personal enrollments, could be this tree, it could be anywhere in their entire structure. So that ultimately sets you up for a gold rank. Then I would start moving people into, when we're going towards, say, for example, a platinum rank, we might start putting our personal enrollments underneath these people on this level. So I personally now only ever put people on my front line, second line, or third line. That's as deep as my personal enrollments ever go. And we call it Operation Fat Tree, where we are fattening up our tree, bringing our people closer towards us. You don't want your personal enrollments, to be honest, anywhere below your 5th level. That's I guess a big no-no for long term. Anyways, hopefully that made a bit of sense, and definitely start structuring towards 50 power of 3. The most important things to remember is it's got to be 600 OV. So you either need 4 people, including yourself, on 150 PV, 5 people on 125 PV, or 6 people on 100. So 6 times 100, 5 times 125, or 4, which is also, remember, including you. That will give you 600 OV, which gives you your 50 USD. This is Nicholas Fairbairn. Peace out. Love you all.